Did it start? Okay. Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Thi3n bringing you another video where we're going to be talking about the four-man meta and basically the different roles of each person in the groups when we're going through the content. What I have up on the screen behind me here is basically a 109 that we cleared yesterday on stream. Really excited about it. I'm not going to give you the audio from that game because music was going on. There were a lot of hectic calls in game and stuff like that. But I will kind of go over each person's responsibility as well as kind of your goals as a group in a whole. So the first thing I want to talk about is something you're actually not going to see in the footage at all, which is speed builds. So for speed builds, you guys can use basically anything you want to clear. I've seen anything from like 1 ZDPS or 0 DPS character and then 3 DPS damage dealers to keeping the meta to keeping what is the current meta as of today, which is 2 ZDPS, a trash clearer, and a Rift Guardian killer. And I'll get into that right now, actually. So the next thing I want to talk about is pushing builds. And so today is May 20th, 2017, and the current meta on the leaderboards is using these 4 classes that you see in the game right now. So which is typically Monk, Barb, Witch Doctor, and a Rift Guardian killer. And right now the most popular one is a Demon Hunter. I'll talk about kind of the alternatives when we get to talking about the Rift Guardian killer. But let's bench that for now and let's talk about first of all the role of the Barb. Okay, and the Barb probably has the hardest job in my opinion of all of the of all the 4 characters in here. We're playing Monk, as you can see below. We're spamming Monk abilities and stuff like that, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about what the Barb's basic jobs are, and what they do in the Rift. If it's not super clear from the gameplay, you may watch people stream or whatever, and you see their Barbs, but somebody, let's just get into explaining it. So first of all, they wear Nemesis bracers, they create density, they keep up Ignore Pain, they use Ancient Spear to drag enemies, and they're also casting it a bunch to keep up their Slander Little Rogue, which gives them more armor, more attack speed. But basically, so those are their jobs kind of listed out. But something that's maybe not obvious is that they're kind of the Rift Navigator. So in the best Z-Barbs basically that I play with are not just doing those things that I was talking about, which is like creating density and keeping up Ignore Pain, but the best Barbs also kind of tell you when to skip mobs, tell you where to group up. They'll press the G button, which puts down their flag, and that'll tell you guys where to group up, where to go. And because of that reason, because this whole Rift Navigator role that they have, that's why I feel they're the most important. If you play with a really good one who's setting you up for success in certain spots, or you're playing with a really bad one that maybe is letting Ignore Pain drop off, and they don't know where to stand or where is going to be best for you guys to group up mobs. They don't know when to skip, then you're going to have a bad time. And so that Rift Navigator job is probably the most important. But that being said, everybody else still has important roles in the Rift as well, and we will get into that. So a little bit more on the finer details of Barb though is check the leaderboards, check out what all the popular Barbs are using. They do other stuff, like they have a War Cry, for example, that gives people move speed. It's important. The best Z-Barbs, when we're moving between packs, they'll come back, shout us, or give us a War Cry, which will increase our movement speed for about, I think, 6 to 8 seconds or something like that. And then we can we move on to the next pack, which hopefully they've set up if they're a good Z-Barb. So that's basically these are some of the finer mechanics. I'm not a super experienced Z-Barb, if I'm being honest. So these are just my general observations when I'm playing Monk and playing with different Z-Barbs. What I can tell you a lot about is Monk, because we play a ton of Monk. This season we've played a lot of Monk, and this particular group, we were able to clear 109. It's the best I've ever done. Super proud of it. That's kind of why we're making the video. It's kind of like a humble brag type thing where we're showing we did a 109, but then we're also kind of just trying to pass along the knowledge that we've learned in doing the 109. Anyways, monk responsibilities. Number 1, be tanky. You got to make sure you don't die. I don't think I ever die in any of my higher greater rift pushed. You got to be tanky, and because when you die, then all of a sudden your inner sanctuary drops, your mantras are dropping. You're no longer spamming heals. You're not cycloning mobs in to create density. Your job's really important, but why I say it's not very difficult is because you're just mashing all of your keys more or less. So if you don't know about the build already, I do have a Z-Monk guide that's created, which I will link in the YouTube video comments. And you can see kind of how my take on Z-Monk and the itemization and stuff like that. But I just want to talk a little bit more about kind of high level what their roles are. So, be tanky. You can see here I'm pulling a lot. I have my inner sanctuary down, which is a huge damage reduction buff, which is helping our witch doctor stay alive and not get CC'd and stuff like that. The best monks will do stuff like walking the witch doctor to the next pack. The best monks will also itemize a lot of health globe, so you heal for as much as possible. And then there's this concept of like controlling the pack, which is something that I don't talk about too much on stream, but it's something that you'll notice my gameplay a little bit is I'll walk a little bit around the inner sanctuary and try and pull mobs in towards the witch doctor. The witch doctor, which I'll be talking about next, relies a lot on area damage and needs density to be powerful. If you're interested in more monk stuff, definitely check out my stream live and ask me questions because I have a lot of knowledge about that. But again, this was just meant to be high level. So let's talk next about the trash clearer role. And in speeds, this can be a wizard, it can be a hammered in. There's a lot of people that can trash clear, but for the purpose of most greater rift pushing, and I mean in the high levels, like in 109. Every team, there might be some variation on the Rift Guardian Killer, but every team has a Witch Doctor. They are the best class for it. In fact, they have 2 very, very good builds for it. I think sub 110, Firebats is popular because it's consistent and it's very good. And then a new build has kind of emerged, which is a Legacy of Nightmares Spirit Barrage build, which I won't get too much into on the mechanics of that, but I just want to talk about kind of high level Witch Doctor again, what they're doing. They're being mindful of their area damage, so they'll kind of save their burst. When I'm on voice communication with these guys, he'll be like, okay, we're waiting for my fire cycle, which means their fire cycle of convention of elements, and then he's casting Haunt on all the enemies, making sure he can get that extra damage buff from the Ring of Emptiness or whatever's giving him a bunch of damage from Haunt. I actually don't know the mechanics of Witch Doctor too well, but I know high level what their role is, which is just clearing tons and tons of trash. They also, the best Witch Doctors, if you're trying to take your gameplay to the next level, they will Spirit Walk, the big damages, Grotesques, Moltens, things like that. They'll be really mindful about their positioning when it comes to like looking for the inner sanctuaries. It's kind of a conjunction on the monk and on the witch doctor to make sure that they're communicating and that they have good synergy with each other. And then I guess maybe their last job is walking to the next pack without going full potato. You can't, you just don't want to like go Dora the Explorer and just go everywhere. You want to make sure you're staying with the pack or staying with the group, making sure you're within range of the monk and maybe the barb if he's giving you move speed. If you can time your spirit walk with when the barb gives you the move speed, those move speed multipliers multiply with each other and you become extra fast and you can get to the next pack even faster. So those are some of the things that the best witch doctors do, but again, their job fairly simple when we compare it to the barb and I think the Rift Guardian Killer, which I will talk about right now. So the Rift Guardian Killer, there are competing theories on who you think the best one is or not. For the purpose of what we're talking about today, we'll cover it a little bit, but it's basically a Hydra Wizard or a demon hunter. Demon hunters tend to be a little bit more consistent in the sense that they can position themselves a little better, and they can always make sure they're attacking the boss first. If you don't know about the Shadow and Pale set, check out different guides on that. I'm not a demon hunter player. I've farmed for the set, but I haven't actually created a guide or anything like that for it. But if you read the set, it basically says the first target you hit takes all that extra damage. And so this demon hunter that we're playing with here, you can kind of see it when we get to the boss here. He's going to be trying to position in a way that he's only hitting the boss first. The other class is the Hydra Wizard, and why they're kind of low in popularity is that Hydras aren't very smart. They'll attack ads. This boss, Perendi, for example, not a very good boss for Hydras, because the Hydras they won't attack the boss the way you want them to. They'll attack the ads, and that can be a bad time when you're trying to burn down one target. But yeah, what is the Rift Guardian Killer's job? Basically, stay alive during the Rift as much as possible, so your res timer is not that high when you get to the boss. Don't go full potato on your positioning. Maybe stand in the inner sync when it's smart. You need to buff the Witch Doctor damage. So whether you're using a companion or you're using slow time, whatever it is that's buffing the Witch Doctor damage, make sure you're doing that, because the Witch Doctor is pulling all the weight during the trash here to give you this much time against the boss. I think for this particular run on our 109, we had like 4 minutes and 10 seconds to kill the boss. Admittedly, our Demon Hunter didn't play super well against the boss here. I think he died a couple times, which is unfortunate. But we still got it down. We were fortunate enough to get a power pylon here, and again, this power pylon was set up by our Barb, who was being kind of the Rift navigator. Other stuff the Rift Guardian Killer has to do is make sure you itemize for killing the boss. Some cool tricks are you can Paragon into Vitality during the Rift, and then switch it all over to Dex or Int, depending on what your class is, for the Rift Guardian Killer. So, it keeps you alive. Make sure you're doing max damage against the boss. You don't really need move speed if you play well. And then make sure you're using Bane of the Stricken if you're pushing really high greater rifts. I think anybody that's pushing this level of content kind of knows their stuff by now, but if it's not obvious and you're curious on how to push and stuff like that, that's why this video is made. It's for you guys. So yeah, this was pretty much a high-level conversation about all the roles here, and I'll let this play out as we kill this boss. Again, this was our highest clear ever. It was our 109 clear that we completed yesterday. Those are all the basic jobs. Again, speeds are going to be a lot different. You do different things in speeds. It's a lot more flexible. I've seen a Monk triple wizard. I've seen Monk double wizard, and a demon hunter. I've seen one Barb, 2 wizard, and a demon hunter. I've seen a crusader and 2 wizards and random ZDPS class. I actually think the best speed build's probably like 4 wizards or something like that. But I'm a little biased. I'm a wizard main, so in my dreams maybe we'll do. Maybe we'll try some 4-man speeds here. Again, this is clips of me playing on stream here. I think we're really excited at this point. We know we got the power pylon. We're not happy that we got Perendi as the last boss. He's maybe the hardest boss in the game. If you notice throughout this rift, we didn't get a conduit. We didn't have particularly good mob sets on the second level, but the first level was just pure gas. We had a huge lead kind of coming into this. 4 minutes to kill the boss. There, our Demon Hunter died, which is awful. I actually don't know if you lose stricken stacks when you die. I don't believe you do, because he was still doing big damage afterwards. And this clear was really close. Maybe we could have popped power sooner, but we wanted to be pretty conservative about it. During the boss fight, if I could have kept inner sync maybe on our Demon Hunter a little better, that may have been the difference between him dying a second or third time. But I think he was having like key binding issues at the time. Check out our other videos for binding your keys to force move, which was helping with positioning here. So just enjoy this with me. We were having quite the push. We were all on voice communication, and bam, at 44 seconds he dies. The boss has 25% of his health left. We're sad, and he's like, oh, we're on voice communication at the time. He was really beating himself up about it, and we're like, just relax, you can do this. Power pylons, big game. hit it, let's go. Power pylon lasts for 30 seconds, by the way. So right there with 30 seconds left, we hit the power pylon, decided to go ham on him. And laid up an inner sink for him, made sure that he was going to stay alive. He goes in here, and get the camera, Mom. We cleared it. We cleared at the time, it was a rank 502. It was a GR 109. Thank you for joining me for this YouTube video. And hopefully you like the content. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so we're done with our YouTube video.